it is a wonderful smelling experience in here right now. You can't smell it from home, but this is morning glory bread.
Yeah.
I've never heard about this. What do we have here, and how do you put this wonderfulness together?
So this is just a little twist on a very classic muffin, and I know you're gonna love this, Mark. So it has, I started with some banana. Banana's gonna keep moisture, and it's gonna be a really good hearty, but it'll have a nice softness to it. So this is banana, there's some maple syrup and some olive oil. You can substitute the olive oil, you could substitute the maple for some honey. We're gonna add some eggs, mix those in, and then we're gonna add in our dry ingredients, which are, this is gluten-free, but again, it's hearty, but it's still healthy.
Okay. Let me stir while you're mixing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna sift in. I've got my oat flour and some sorghum flour, and then some potato starch to keep this nice and light as well. I've also got some baking soda, salt, and some cinnamon.
So this sounds complicated. There are a lot of ingredients, but it is something that we all can do from home.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a little bit of measuring, a little bit of stuff you have to do ahead of time, but it's something that, you know, making this in a loaf, you could even make it in muffins. It'll last throughout the week. So,
okay.
You know, it's very easy to put together just in one bowl, as you can see. And then I'm gonna, while you're whisking that, I'm gonna add in some shredded apple and some shredded carrot.
That sounds great, apple.
And, you know, there are lots of substitutions, so don't feel like you have to do everything exactly like this recipe. You want to keep the ratios of the dry ingredients the same, but you could add pear, you could add, you know, different dried fruits, which we're going to add some raisins.
Okay.
A little bit of vanilla.
This is thick once you get stirring with it.
It is, but, you know, it'll... all of the vegetables, the carrot and the apple that we added, they have a lot of moisture that you don't really see, and that'll come out in the oven. So got some raisins. And then that just goes into a greased muffin tin, or baking pan.
Okay.
And it bakes at 325 for an hour. So
okay, so not too long.
Ready? Yep, and then we are, this is a nice healthy bread, but we're gonna make it a little bit of added decadence to it. I did this growing up, frying the muffin in a little bit of butter. So we put these in here. It gives you a nice crispy exterior.
I was hoping you were going to do that. That sounded really good.
Butter and bread and in the skillet. We have about a minute left. So this is something you do for how long here?
So just until it gets crispy. It's a nice hot pan. So it's going to be about a minute on each side. And you are adding a little bit of freshly whipped cream to it. But of course, you know, there are, like I said, in this recipe, lots of variations. You could use coconut oil instead of butter.
Could you use zucchini?
You could use zucchini, absolutely. And then you could also put yogurt or cottage cheese or something on top that's a little more tangy that would go well with the sweetness of the bread.
And a nice day for weather, speaking of
if you're going to be outside, check it out. We're looking at temperatures today well up into the 80s. A lot of